Wendy Carter had spent most of her adult life believing that love was something you earned by sacrificing for your family. At just 22, after landing her first stable job in Chicago, she began helping her parents whenever they faced financial trouble. It started with a simple electricity bill, then rent, medical expenses, and eventually thousands of dollars every year. Her parents, Michael and Eleanor Carter, always praised her kindness but somehow never treated her like an equal member of the family. Her younger brother, Trevor Carter, was always celebrated as the golden child, while Wendy was expected to quietly solve every financial problem without asking questions. Years later, after paying for countless family expenses and even buying them a beautiful house in her own name, Wendy expected nothing more than a little respect. Instead, while her family enjoyed a luxury cruise she had fully paid for, she returned to the house only to discover that every lock had been changed. Looking through a window, she saw boxes labeled with her name, marked for donation as if she had already disappeared from their lives. Confused and heartbroken, she searched through the mailbox and found several financial letters addressed to her that she had never seen before. Curiosity quickly turned into fear as she contacted her bank and requested a complete financial history. What arrived shocked her beyond words. Credit cards, personal loans, store accounts, and lines of credit had been opened in her name over the last 12 years without her knowledge. As Wendy carefully arranged every document by year, a disturbing pattern emerged. Every single time she had generously helped her parents financially, another account had secretly been opened using her identity. Her kindness had unknowingly become the perfect cover for years of deception. Instead of appreciating her sacrifices, someone had been using her clean financial record to borrow money behind her back. Sitting alone with the documents spread across her dining table, Wendy realized this wasn't a series of mistakes, it was a carefully organized scheme that had quietly followed her through every stage of her adult life. A family is built on honesty, trust, and justice, not on deception, betrayal, or taking what belongs to another without permission. Wealth gained through dishonesty never brings lasting peace, while truth and integrity always lead to the safest path, even when that path is painful. Part 2. Unable to ignore what she had uncovered, Wendy contacted her longtime friend, Olivia Bennett, a respected attorney who specialized in financial crimes. They met the following morning at a quiet coffee shop, where Wendy spread every document across the table. Olivia carefully reviewed each account, comparing dates, signatures, and balances. After nearly an hour of silence, she closed the folder and looked directly at Wendy. "This isn't a family disagreement," she said calmly. "This is identity theft, financial fraud, and forgery. Whoever did this committed serious crimes." Hearing those words from a lawyer made everything painfully real. Until that moment, Wendy had hoped there might be some innocent explanation. Instead, she realized someone she trusted had deliberately used her identity for years. Olivia explained that Wendy had two choices. She could quietly freeze her credit and walk away, or she could officially report the fraud, knowing it could lead to criminal charges against those responsible. That evening, Wendy called her mother, Eleanor, hoping to hear the truth directly from her. She calmly explained what she had discovered and asked for an honest explanation. Instead of showing remorse, Eleanor dismissed her concerns and insisted that families shared everything. She even suggested Wendy was being selfish for questioning financial decisions that had supposedly helped everyone. Not once did she deny that the accounts existed. Instead, she shifted the blame onto Wendy for asking questions. That conversation shattered the last hope Wendy had been holding on to. She realized that someone who refuses to admit wrongdoing cannot begin to make things right. The following morning, Wendy placed a fraud alert on her credit files to stop any new accounts from being opened without verification. It was a small step, but for the first time in years, she felt she was protecting her own future instead of rescuing everyone else's. True families protect one another with honesty, fairness, and trust. Deception, betrayal, and taking another person's rights can never build lasting security. What belongs to someone else should always remain protected, and justice begins the moment a person chooses truth over fear. Part 3. As Wendy continued investigating her financial records, she requested copies of the original loan applications from several lenders. What she discovered removed every remaining doubt. The signatures on the documents were not hers. Someone had carefully forged her name over and over again. On one application, another signature immediately caught her attention. It belonged to her younger brother, Trevor Carter, listed as a reference using his real phone number. Suddenly, years of unanswered questions began making sense. Trevor had not simply benefited from the fraud, he had actively participated in it. Every forged signature, every fraudulent loan, and every hidden account pointed toward a deliberate plan that had lasted for more than a decade. Before Wendy could decide what to do next, she received an unexpected video call from her 9-year-old niece, Sadie. The cheerful little girl excitedly talked about the family cruise before innocently mentioning something that made Wendy's heart sink. "Grandma says we're all going to be rich when we get home," Sadie smiled. "She said there's a big surprise, but I'm not supposed to tell you." Moments later, the call ended abruptly as Sadie's mother quickly took the phone away. Wendy sat in complete silence, realizing the fraud was not over. Whatever her family was planning was still moving forward, and it somehow involved even an innocent child. That same evening, Wendy placed security freezes with all 3 major credit bureaus, ensuring no one could open another account in her name without her direct approval. She also discovered that one large personal loan remained active, meaning someone was still using her identity. When she contacted the lender, she was informed that the account could only be removed after an official identity theft report and a police investigation. The decision she had been avoiding could no longer be delayed. Protecting herself was no longer only about recovering money, it was about preventing more innocent people from becoming victims of deception. Trust is a blessing that must never be abused. Honesty, justice, and protecting the rights of others are the foundations of every healthy family, while betrayal and unlawful gain ultimately destroy both relationships and peace. Final part. Wendy gathered every piece of evidence and, with the guidance of her attorney, filed an official identity theft report and a police complaint. The investigation moved quickly. The fraudulent mortgage application was stopped before it could be approved, every forged account was disputed, and her credit history gradually returned to normal. At the same time, Wendy legally sold the house she had purchased in her own name, ensuring no one could use it for another fraudulent loan. When her parents and Trevor returned from their cruise, they found the locks changed and learned that the house no longer belonged to them. For the first time, Wendy calmly revealed everything she had uncovered: the forged signatures, the hidden loans, the years of deception, and the evidence that proved it all. Her mother tried to justify their actions by saying that her own parents had treated her the same way years earlier, but Wendy quietly replied, "Knowing where the cycle began doesn't give anyone the right to continue it." Those words ended the conversation. Wendy walked away without anger or revenge, knowing she had chosen truth over fear. In the months that followed, the legal process continued, those responsible faced the consequences of their own actions, and Wendy finally reclaimed her financial freedom and peace of mind. She bought a modest new home where every key, every document, and every decision belonged only to her. She also created a protected education fund for her young niece, Sadie, ensuring that no one could ever misuse the child's future again. Sitting alone in her new home one quiet evening, Wendy realized she had spent years trying to earn a place in a family that never truly valued honesty or trust. The greatest lesson she learned was that real love never demands payment, never keeps a ledger, and never asks someone to sacrifice their dignity to belong. A family is built on truth, mercy, justice, and respect, not on lies, manipulation, or taking what belongs to another. If someone repeatedly violates your rights, protecting yourself is not cruelty, it is wisdom. Sometimes walking away from injustice is the first step toward real peace. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful life stories filled with meaningful lessons. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next story.